Tonight, our special transmission as a former Guantanamo Bay prison detainee draws parallels between abuses in the U.S. and Israeli prisons. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Aisha Ashraf. Today is a 266th day since Israel started targeting Palestinians indiscriminately. Palestine Health Ministry reports in the past 24 hours, Israeli strikes have killed 47 Palestinians. 52 have been injured. Israeli strikes have targeted residential areas in Sabra and Shuja'iyya neighborhoods in Gaza. The attacks have resulted in 8 fatalities. In the Jabalia refugee camp, 6 people have been killed in military attacks. Eyewitnesses say fighter jets have struck several homes and set buildings ablaze in Rafah. Multiple casualties have been taken to the European hospital near Khan Yunis following the attacks. Anadolu agency reports Israeli jets have targeted a school sheltering displaced Palestinians, causing many fatalities. Another child has succumbed to malnutrition in Kamal Adwan Hospital. This raises the death toll of children suffering from malnutrition and dehydration to 31. At the time of writing, at least 37,765 Palestinians have been killed. A revised report by the United Nations estimates another 10,000 civilians are buried under the rubble. 86,429 have been injured. Israel faces accusations of genocide at the International Court of Justice. The court has ordered an immediate halt to military operations in Rafah. Sweltering summer conditions in Gaza are increasing hardships for civilians. Israeli attacks have displaced 2.3 million Palestinians. Gaza is cut off from Israeli electricity and fuel. Large families and groups of people are crowded in shelters. Clean water is scarce. They have zero amenities like air conditioning or proper health care. Temperatures have been higher than 30 degrees Celsius this week. Families struggle with sleepless nights due to bombing. On nights with no attacks, civilians are bothered by insect bites. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency reports that an average of 10 Palestinian children lose one or both legs daily in Gaza. Felipe Lazzarini, Commissioner General of the agency, describes Israeli aggression in Gaza as an example of brutal warfare. Lazzarini was speaking at the Geneva press conference. He says amputations occur under dire conditions, often without anesthesia. Lazzarini says a report by Save the Children estimates 21,000 children are missing or unaccounted for since the beginning of war. Lazzarini has voiced urgent funding concerns for the agency. He says the agency needs $140 million to sustain its operations for the remaining 6 months of this year. He has also expressed grave concerns over escalating military actions in the West Bank. He labels the aggression as a silent war, which is exacerbating Palestinian suffering. A series of viral photos showing Israeli soldiers standing on what appears to be the Saudi Arabian flag has received backlash on social media. Users condemn the images as deeply disrespectful to Islam. They are urging Saudi authorities to take a firm stance against Israel. The images have been initially shared on X by user Tamer. They depict Israeli soldiers allegedly trampling the Saudi flag during operations in Gaza. This incident has intensified criticism towards potential normalization talks between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Social media users are questioning Riyadh's response. Muslim News Canada has not been able to verify the authenticity of the photos. Former Guantanamo detainee is drawing parallels between his experiences in U.S. detention and the treatment of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli jails. Asadullah Haroon was held without charge for 16 years in Guantanamo Bay detention camp following 9/11 attacks. He described severe physical and mental abuse in these years, including beatings and sleep deprivation. Haroon says similar tactics are now being employed against Palestinians. Former Palestinian detainees report of beatings, dog attacks, and humiliating treatment. Human rights organizations have called for international action. They compare Israeli practices to U.S. abuses in notorious prisons like Abu Ghraib in Iraq. At least 54 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli jails since the start of war. In late April, an Israeli newspaper published details of the abuse of Palestinian prisoners who had been jailed without trial. Much of the abuse carried out in Israeli prisons has been filmed by the soldiers. It has strong echoes of the treatment of Iraqi and Afghan prisoners in U.S. detention centers. In Abu Ghraib prison in 2003, U.S. soldiers photographed themselves alongside prisoners in humiliating positions. Germany has introduced new citizenship laws. The laws include the applicants to affirm Israel's right to exist. It is effective immediately. The revised laws reduce the residency requirement for citizenship from 8 to 5 years and permits dual nationality for first-generation migrants. The citizenship test now includes questions on anti-Semitism, Israel's legitimacy, and Germany's historical responsibility to Jewish people. Interior Minister Nancy Faeser says adherence to German values is crucial for citizenship eligibility. These changes coincide with recent controversies over academic freedom and support for Palestine, including reports of funding threats to dissenting academics. Speeches by Palestinian academics and writers have been canceled and protests banned. Strict policies regarding speech at protests and events have been implemented. In March, a state-owned bank in Germany froze the bank account of a Jewish anti-Zionist organization. Germany remains a significant supplier of weapons to Israel. Critics argue these measures suppress pro-Palestinian voices. The University of Waterloo has filed a $1.5 million lawsuit against its own students involved in a Free Palestine peaceful sit-in on campus. Administrators accuse the sit-in of trespassing, property damage, and intimidation. The university claims the sit-in has harmed its reputation and increased operational costs. The legal action follows demands for transparency in investment policies, including divestment from Israel. Student organizers say their protest is against the university's alleged complicity in genocide in Gaza. The lawsuit has sparked controversy within academia. Critics are questioning the university's handling of free expression and student dissent. Similar sit-ins at other Canadian universities are also facing pressure for removal. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now, so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad.